Hello again, everyone, and welcome to Oklahoma Sports Scene at the Bricktown Brewery here in South Peoria in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Yeah, you know, I'm out with my cohorts. They're all in injured reserve, guys. Nathan Thompson of Fox 23. Of course, Harold Kuntz, the News on 6 KOTV here in Tulsa, CBS affiliate. They're filling in for J.B. Haney. And he had his hip replaced a week ago. Gil Cloud had a knee replaced this week. So
you had some knees replaced too.
It's summertime. They're all bionic people there, guys. My goodness. But you young guys, give us some of your background, Nathan, here at Fox 23.
Well, first of all, I love being called a young guy. So thank you for that.
From my perspective, you're young.
Yeah, I've been at Fox 23 since 2007, been the sports director there. I think about 2011 or 12 is when I took over that role. And before, kind of an Oklahoma guy here, I went to Oklahoma State, and I went and grew up and went to high school in Bartlesville. So spent most of my life with a quick 2-year stop in Waco right after college. Right. So most of my adult life has been here in the great state of Oklahoma, and happy to be here.
And by the way, he also is our 2018 Oklahoma Sportscaster of the Year. Congratulations on that, Nathan.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. It's a nice honor. It makes it even more especially nice since, of course, we have a lot of great broadcasters here in the state of Oklahoma, and it's the local media members who vote on it, so it's a great honor.
And you're also the voice of Cox in football season, too.
Did a high school for the football broadcast. You know, anytime the game is on the east side, I'm generally the voice up there. Cox actually owns Fox 23, so it's a nice kind of relationship we have with the Cox Cable.
And now our friend Harold Kuntz, we had to say hello and goodbye to, had his final newscast at KOTV and News on 6 in Tulsa this past weekend. Now, tell us what's on your future, Harold. Talk about it.
Yeah, I'm going to Kansas City at the Fox affiliate, Fox 4, so maybe I'll be talking to Nathan about getting him some info if they ever ask.
Yeah.
You know, it could be into cards there. But yeah, headed up there after 6 years and 3 months here. Great 6 years and 3 months here at Tulsa, Oklahoma. I'd never been to Oklahoma before I moved here. I worked in Maryland before that at a small NBC affiliate out in a tiny city out in the western Maryland area called Hagerstown. And then I'm originally from Nashville, Tennessee. I've also lived in Louisiana. I've lived in Ohio. I've lived in New York. I've visited 31 or 32 states now. But this is the one I've lived in, the second longest behind Tennessee. So it's been excellent, but time to move on to a new journey in Missouri.
And you probably recognize him, or you should recognize him. He's a YouTube star.
Oh, boy.
That's right. Got to bring it up. Got to bring it up.
Right. 2 years ago, the Super Bowl, he's the giant Philadelphia Eagle fan. Set it up for us, Harold. It was a great TV.
Well, let me see, Chris. Let me take a sip here.
Are you going to recreate it?
For the I think 3,673rd time, potentially. So let's go back to Super Bowl last year.
Right.
Eagles, of course, playing the Patriots. We have a 9 o'clock show, or sports hits at around 9:17, give or take. And that's right around the time the game was ending. Patriots have the ball. It's Tom Brady. Anybody who's a sports fan knows you don't trust anything until the game's over at double zeros. Obviously, the Eagles have never won a Super Bowl. They've been to one in my lifetime, 2 overall, 1980, 2005. The 2005 one, I was a little too busy living in New Orleans, so I was paying attention and also paying attention to the parade route. But this one, full undivided attention, and came down to the end. And our producer, Scott File, I'll give him a shout out, obviously. They put some extra stories in before the game went final so they could put the final score up on the full screen there. So it was a surprise to me because, you know, when you step into a studio, you don't have any TVs anywhere. And I didn't bring my phone with me. So
and you were kind of busy doing the sportscast.
I was trying to put together a show. It was just not working. But so it happened, and I obviously I'll let you see it for yourself if you ever check it out what happened. But there were tears, there were papers dropping, and
if you just Google his name,
just
it's gonna be the first thing at the top.
Just Google the name.
That's right.
The aftermath was interviews with the London Daily Mail. I had interviewed a Finnish newspaper.
Look at that,
I don't know where I don't know how. And the TMZ just randomly got my number and texted me.
Oh, wow,
I was really scared. But then I realized the guy was a Syracuse guy, and he just emailed a professor, and they got one. So I was like, okay, I can understand that. But
let's keep our lineup down for Oklahoma Sports Scene show. We got a good lineup for you. Ray Hoyt, who is the guy who's in charge of Tulsa Sports Commission as well as Tulsa Tourism. He's going to talk about some of the big events coming to Tulsa, the economic impact that the sportsman had on this city and area. Frank Haith, the TU head basketball coach. I sat down with him for a special interview at on the TU campus. We'll have that for you. And Joe Dial, an absolute legend in pole vaulting, and a 26 now season as a coach at Old Roberts University. He will also be joined by Doug Eaton, who just has a book written about the Joe Dial story. You can enjoy all of that too. But guys, there are a lot of hot topics to discuss. One that just popped up as we were getting ready for the show on a Monday. Kyler Murray's made it official.
Yeah, I think most people kind of thought he would go to the NFL at this point, even though he was drafted, in the top 10 in the Major League Baseball draft before the football season. But when you have a season like he had, and you had a Heisman Trophy winning season, you win that, he's a guy that even though you'll hear some national people complain a little bit or say he's a little short for the NFL, I think that's kind of been proven that not as big of a deal as maybe it used to be with kind of the modern offenses. And I think he's going to do great, and I'm not surprised at all by his decision. Sure, he was making close to $5 million from the A's, but he's going to make way more than that in the NFL. The only positive is maybe, baseball will be a little easier on the body. He might not make as much money, but I'm not surprised. He tweeted out the news. He's committing fully to be an NFL quarterback.
Yeah, his quote was very nice. Football has been my love, my passion, my entire life. He said, it's always what I've wanted to do, and I'm now totally committed to that. It was nice. The A's said they wished him well, and they get their $4.66 million.
Yeah, well, of course. I would do that in a heartbeat.
I think if you know you're an NFL quarterback, you're traveling first class. That's a long way up in the minor leagues.
Well, I think single A for Oakland is Beloit. Enjoy Wisconsin. Which Wisconsin, for anybody watching, it's a wonderful state, obviously.
Yeah, my wife is right over there from Wisconsin.
Exactly. So make sure we know that Wisconsin's a beautiful area. But you go from, I think there's a couple things here. The way the pay scale works in the NFL and the fact that you don't have to work through your minor league system, you're immediately on the roster. That's huge for them. And then also I think the young man knew that. So he used the leverage with Major League when they were kind of visiting with him beforehand, before all the decision-making down at his home in Dallas. And he knew that.
Yeah.
He knew football was his love. And when Oakland drafted him, I'm sure they didn't project Heisman Trophy winning season because what do you have? Charlie Ward, I think, is one of the last few guys that went to another professional sport. But he's all in on football. I mean, the way they protect quarterbacks in the NFL, you got Drew Brees, you got Russell Wilson, some of the guys that are under 6 feet tall that work in the NFL. I think he's got a future ahead of him.
And hey, Baker Mayfield shows that the Oklahoma system, you're not a system quarterback. You can succeed in the NFL coming out of there.
I've seen him projected, someone projected 13 to the Miami Dolphins, but it looks like for sure he'll be a first rounder. That'll make history, right, Nathan? Never before.
And he could very easily be in the top 10.
That's true.
That'd be top, back-to-back top 10 quarterbacks after both of them won the Heisman Trophy. It's amazing. And, you've got Spencer Rattler coming in, and, of course, Jalen Hurts from Alabama. So that could just keep on going as that quarterback factory now, Lincoln Riley's OU offense.
But no athlete in history has ever been drafted in the first round of the Major League Baseball draft and the NFL draft. So
it's happening this year.
He's a good athlete. He deserves it.
Guys, Bob Stoops back to coaching. What'd you make of that?
Well, I think Bill Haith over at Tulsa World asked for a quote from the paper, and I think what I said was, if you gave me 10 guesses to say where Bob Stoops' next coaching career would be, I don't think the letters XFL would have been in any of my guesses. But it is a great fit for him for when the season is. He can still focus on OU and college football during the college football season because the XFL is after that. And I think it's safe to say a lot less demands on his time than taking over a major college football program would be. In college, it's not just the football season. It's the recruit. It's an all-year, consumes your life kind of deal. And I think XFL, even though he is the GM also, is not that kind of time commitment. So, hey, to me, it's not a part-time job, but, it's a way less than a college football head coach.
Surprise you, Harold?
A little bit. But honestly, when I saw that the AAF started in the XFL, there's been a need for minor league football, quote unquote, if you will. They always say it's the college football is the minor league, but there's so many guys, and I think we saw that with Zach Sanchez. He found himself on the Carolina Panthers practice squad now, on a team, getting regular play. And there's a need for that, but there's also a need for good coaching to develop these guys. And I think Bob Stoops is one of the best coaches out there. He's available. It makes perfect sense, like what Nathan was saying about the timing of it. Right. He just comes in, there's players, you play your 10 weeks, you're done, you still get a summer out of it. I think it's a good move for him.
Alliance American Football, a new league, just started in the spring, CBS behind it. CBS says, very pleased, I guess, with the opening TV ratings the first weekend.
Well, the ratings beat out the Thunder Rockets nationally,
that was a great game too,
which is incredible because you had a 26-point comeback from the Thunder.
Wow.
But when it comes to, I don't really factor into ratings so much. I just factor in, there's an insatiable need for football in this country, and everybody can see that. Plus, the level of football, I think they had 30 days to prepare for their first game. They played one preseason game. The level of football you see is actually not too bad. You know, you have some familiar names there that they just couldn't hack it in the NFL, but you give them this league, it gives them opportunity.
It'll be interesting to see how the AAF does against the XFL whenever
yes,
they're both going.
Yeah.
Now, the AAF has the advantage of starting a year earlier,
Yeah.
and that's a pretty big advantage.
I want to jump to Major League Baseball now. The spring camps are opening up around the country. Nobody knows that better than Harold Kuntz. He goes to Kansas City. Then where do they send you, Harold?
Surprise, Arizona. So
about that? The
literally,
Royals.
surprise.
Yeah.
The first day,
the
right?
Royals.
The first day
on the gig. So, but I mean, I'm still flying coach. It's not first class. But no, I'm actually really excited for the Royals. They're obviously they had a disappointing season last year, 58 and 104. So you never want to lose 100 games.
Yeah.
But they have some guys in the Omaha system, that Omaha AAA affiliate, some pitchers that are going to help their rotation a little bit. They're bringing in a lot of speed. They got Billy Hamilton, Terrence Gore. They're going to try to Whit Merrifield. They're going to try to steal some bases. They're still rock solid at catcher with Salvador Perez back there. So they've got some pieces, but they're still building. I mean, if they get to 500, I think that's a win for them.
They start the preseason February 23rd, hosting the Texas Rangers. Then the opener, Chicago White Sox in Kansas City on March 28th.
I'll probably be there.
In the snow.
Yes, hopefully it holds off. At least get above 50. That'd be great.
Bottom line, coming up on Oklahoma Sports in our next show, we're going to have Bob Carpenter, voice of Washington Nationals, to talk more on Major League Baseball, and Brian Carroll, the assistant general manager at the Tulsa Drillers, talk about our Drillers as well. So a lot coming up on Oklahoma Sports Scene. We're also going to have a few more things to say about these two guys too along the way. Ray Hoyt comes on, talks Tulsa sports, the impact on the economy that the sports scene has had. So stay with us on Oklahoma Sports Scene.
At Bricktown Brewery, we're known for our famous original craft beers like Single String Stout and Bluesberry Ale. Did you know we also brew our own root beer at our Oklahoma City brewhouse? It's called Attaboy Root Beer, and you'll love it no matter what your age. Just ask for a Bricktown Kids menu with all the favorites for our guests 12 and under. Bricktown Brewery opens every day at 11 a.m.
Back at the Bricktown Brewery here in Tulsa on Oklahoma Sports Scene, our special guest here, Ray Hoyt. He is the president of Visit Tulsa and Tulsa Sports. And Ray, let's give it first a bit of your background and also the mission of your group there.
Well, I've been in Tulsa since 2010, and really our mission is to sell Tulsa as a destination for sports, tourism, film, and music, and really put people in hotels and people in our attractions and our convention center and our BOK arena and make the city a place to be.
I guess the next big event for us, Big 12 Wrestling.
Yep, absolutely, coming up the road.
And let's talk about NCAA. People are excited about first and second round NCAA tournament coming to Tulsa. I know you're already looking at the brackets, possibly.
Absolutely. I have 2 or 3 bracketology kind of blogs I look at every day, and you know, someday I like some versus others, but obviously we would love to see Kansas back in Tulsa with Coach Self's connection and the Blue Wave, as we call it. They really bring a lot of fans to town, and that's important for us and for our market and for our hotels and our economy. So, but again, we'll take any Big 12 school and a couple of Big 10 schools, and we'll be happy.
You know, it's kind of a down year for college basketball here in the state.
Yeah.
Might not have any state teams make the NCAA tournament. We don't want to see that, but if you have more college basketball fans in Tulsa because they're not following these other teams, do you think that helps with your attendance at all?
Yeah, I think it does. I mean, obviously we want good travel teams, just like every city that's hosting, but that's up to the selection committee. But I think Tulsa has a pretty solid basketball following. If you draw a 4-hour circle around Tulsa, which is kind of that sweet spot for us to target, you pull in Wichita and some of the other Springfield, Joplin, who are pretty big basketball fans. So I think we'll do well with our drive market, but clearly we want some solid big travel teams.
Do you find the city of Tulsa to be a lot more, sellable, if you will, over the years? Because when you've done this, the past couple of years now, you've added the Gathering Place and a couple other tourist attractions, if you will. How better of a sell has that been for what you're trying to accomplish?
Well, I can tell you, it's a night and day difference from 2011 to today, with over 90 new businesses in downtown. When you look at the new hotel properties we have in downtown, and then you also look at the restaurants and the culinary scene, and then obviously the microbrews, right? Yeah. Which is like, you can't say bad things about that. So that's the opportunity. I think is in 11 we literally had to build some infrastructure and some transportation to get those fans base around, and today we don't have to do that at all. We don't have to worry about transportation. Downtown's vibrant, lots of entertainment and opportunity for dining. So I think it's really kind of, in 10 years, it's really kind of become a destination. I think that also really bodes well for us with Big 12 wrestling, because they really feel like the fans can come here and have a great experience in the downtown market and not feel like they have to travel someplace else to get the things that they would get in another city or a market that they would participate in.
And more stuff is coming too. The Oklahoma Pop Museum, the Bob Dylan Center
absolutely.
Is your job just getting easier and easier each year?
Well, it's never easy because we're competing with people like Fort Worth and Memphis and Louisville, but clearly the private investment and the public investment with the new remodel of the old arena, with BOK's name really kind of being one of the top arenas in the country, it makes it a lot easier for us to sell Tulsa as a destination. But to your point, the gathering place, OK Pop coming online, there's a lot of other things we're working on. The Arena District Master Plan that's really going to transform that area in the next 10 years or so. I think you're going to see even more happen in downtown, which will make it easier for us to sell to sporting events like Bassmaster and NCAA, Big 12, those people that we really want to keep kind of coming back to Tulsa on a annual or biannual basis.
What do you think the chance of Tulsa getting a second week of NCAA tournament instead of the first and second rounds?
Well, we bid, it's a 4-year cycle. So we have to really kind of bid, kind of throw it all out there like spaghetti on the wall. So we bid second, third rounds and the regionals. We've just gotten second and third rounds. But we always, when we do bid, and we'll bid again here in the next 2 years, we'll bid for second, third round and regionals, because you never know what they're going to give you.
Talk about the economic impact of this group of Visit Tulsa, of Tulsa Sports. The dollar figures are staggering.
Yeah, it's crazy. We, for the first time, we did an economic impact study commissioned by a group called Oxford Economics, and they do tourism only. And for 2017, it was 9.1 million people visited Tulsa in the area. And a lot of people were like, 9 million is a big number. But it was $1 billion in economic impact to the community. Wow. 14,000 people work in the market of tourism in that sector, which is pretty, big deal. It's the third largest industry in the state, tourism is. What's interesting too is for kind of an economic thing, for every household in Tulsa, every rooftop, about 430,000 homes in Tulsa, tourists put $518 per household in our general tax fund from taxes. So when you think about the impact of, it's more than sports, it's more than equine, it's more than a chili bowl, it's really economics. It's them affording us a better quality of life. So all these cool restaurants that we're in like today, all those tourists that are in here spending their money makes our community much more vibrant and much more livable for us, and we benefit from all that imported tax. And so I think for our perspective, tourism and sports is really vital to a prosperous city that we all want to enjoy.
So, what's your pitch when you go into these meetings? What do you say, if you have 1 minute to pitch Tulsa compared to Wichita and Little Rock and even Kansas City?
1 minute.
What's your 1 minute?
On the spot.
When you put you on the spot, what do you have to say to them? How do you sell Tulsa?
I would say that Tulsa's historic culture, the Art Deco, and the things that you can see here in Tulsa, from world-class art at Philbrook and the Go Crease, second to none in the world. Number one arena in the United States last year, in the vibrancy of our cultural scene and our culinary scene, the microbrew, 12 microbrews now in the market. Wow. I would tell you that the opportunity to see world-class art and the attractions we have in Tulsa and the affordability of our community, and just the fact that every time we do a survey, people say Tulsa's people are really friendly and Tulsa's an easy place to kind of get around and be in. And I think that sells them when you look at us versus some of these other communities that have huge traffic problems and much bigger markets. And when you're in Tulsa, you feel like everybody knows you're here and everybody is aware that you're here. And I think that our clients and our guests feel like they're welcome. And I think that's really kind of Tulsa's selling point, is that we really do appreciate them being here.
I know probably 5 years ago you're pitching Tulsa, you're showing people around Tulsa, a general reaction was, oh wow, I didn't know that Tulsa had this much going on. Is it still kind of that reaction, or people now, is the word out more?
I think it's much better than it was 10 years ago. I think we still suffer from some of that a little bit, but it's clearly changing as Tulsa becomes a better, more stronger destination for a lot of things. But we still have to get them here. And I think once we get people in the market, we absolutely know that they're going to fall in love with Tulsa, and it's an easier sell. And there's just a quality about Tulsa that I think a lot of people just kind of fall for. And that's what we really have to do. Selling them from 1,000 miles away is tough, but if we get them here, we got them sold.
Ray Hoyt's our president of Visit Tulsa and Tulsa Sports. Let's look to the future now. Talk about that. The district area around the arena you're talking about, the new plan.
Well, so it's over 30 blocks of basically around the arena and the convention center. So one of the things, BOK celebrated its 10th anniversary this year, or this past year. And one of the things that's not happened is that district's not grown up around the arena and convention center like it did maybe at One Oak, with the Stadium Trust really focused on that. So I think the district plan now gives us a vision, and without a vision, there's no plan, there's no development. So I think this gives us the opportunity to look 10 years down the road and really start to work with private investment and public investment. That whole area is an opportunity zone, which is being shaped up by the federal government. So I think you're going to see a lot of private investment come in and try and put that convention center hotel in place and really kind of support those two big, basically economic generators for the community. Between the BOK Center, the Convention Center, and Expo Square, those really are our three major assets for destination travel folks. So we really have to infill with mixed use, retail, large size hotels, and drive that market share, because we're opening up another 41,000 square feet of convention space in the old arena. So we got to sell it, and we need the hotel rooms and the infrastructure around that. So when the guests walk out of that place, they have some place to sit down and enjoy.
Ray, thanks for taking time in your busy schedule. And Bricktown Brewery wants you to enjoy dinner on them sometime. As our gift card, Bricktown Brewery, our major sponsor there. Appreciate you being with us here, and do a great job. Thanks so much. Appreciate it, man. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
We're going to come right back with the head basketball coach, University of Tulsa, Kate Denny, going to do with Frank Haith right after this.
Welcome to Jimmy's Egg. Come on in.
For more than 30 years, Jimmy's Egg has been starting people's day off right with hot, fresh, made-to-order food. Our eggs are fresh, cracked to order every time, and there are over 40,000 ways to craft your own omelet. With signature favorites like our meat lovers skillet or decadent cinnamon roll pancakes, you won't leave hungry. Breakfast and lunch is available every day from 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., so stop in today and let our friendly staff serve you.
Stop by and see us sometime.
March Madness. There's nothing like it. The road to the Final Four goes through Tulsa. The 2019 NCAA Men's Basketball first and second rounds, March 22nd and 24th at BOK Center in Tulsa.
Beautifully done. Deep splash. Feeling it today.
Visit ncaa.com/MBB tickets and get your seats today.
Welcome back to Oklahoma Sports Scene. A very special guest, the head men's basketball coach, University of Tulsa, Frank Haith. Coach, finally get together with you here at Oklahoma Sports Scene.
Well, I'm excited about it, Chris.
Hard to catch up with you on this no busy time during the season here. Hard about your fifth season at TU, Coach.
It's been good, though. It's been, our teams we have had some special teams here, some special players, and we've been consistent, and that's what's encouraging for me as we move forward. That we've been able to be consistent here.
Incredible resume in basketball, Coach. Back to our Mizzou days, but over 30 years in coaching. Give us a little bit of your background there and your step to getting to Tulsa.
Well, I've been very blessed. First of all, I worked with some really good coaches. From Rick Barnes to Dave Odom to Tony Baroni to Kevin Eastman to Jerry Dunn to Bob Burton. My first job in the college was at Elon College, which is where I went to school at. And I worked 5 years with Dave, who we had some really good teams at Wake Forest, and then Rick Barnes, and obviously Rick has been like a mentor to me, and I would say father, but he said you're not that much older than me, but more like a brother, he would say.
Yeah.
But I've been blessed to have had some great coaches that have been mentors, and I've learned a great deal from them.
You mentioned Rick Barnes. It's amazing how much smarter he got when he left Texas and went to Tennessee. What a great job he's doing at Tennessee.
Yeah, and
wow.
he's you know what, I think he's one of those guys that I feel like has never gotten his due as a coach. Yeah. And but his consistency, 16 out of 17 years at Texas to the NCAA tournament. We all know how hard it is to make the NCAA tournament. He was very consistent there, and I was there early on when we took the job at Texas, and it was not what Texas is now, perceived to be basketball-wise, and he built that program. I really felt like he built it. And then obviously the opportunity to go over to Tennessee, and look what he's got the #1 team in the country right now, and he's just, and you look at his team, he's had, warrior-type players. They don't have 5-star guys, and I think he's a hell of a coach. And I think he's one of the great ones. I think he's a Hall of Famer. I really do. I think he's a guy that should be viewed that way.
A lot of people were surprised, Frank, when you left a high-profile job at a high-profile conference, Missouri, SEC, just leaving the Big 12, and came to the University of Tulsa. What attracted you about the University of Tulsa?
It was the people here. Stead and Dr. Gregg both reached out to me about the job, and I'm at a point in time in my career where I was more searching for happiness and by my family and their vision of joining, and I've been a part of this. People don't remember this. When I took over Miami, we were just joining Atlantic Coast Conference, and then so in Missouri we were just joining the SEC. We went from Big 12. So the fact that they were joining AAC, which I thought was going to be a power basketball conference, and I've been in the bright lights thing didn't excite me anymore. That didn't attract me anymore. It's all about my family. It's all about happiness. And I felt good about their vision of what they thought the program here at Tulsa could be.
Heck, great consistency, averaging over 20 wins a season, Coach. You've had a lot of postseason appearances and stuff. Let's talk now about this Tulsa basketball team, the 2018-19 version. Got off to a great start in non-conference. Talk about that November-December run.
Well, we scheduled strong, heavy. We had 2 Big 12 teams coming in our building.
We were 2-0 in the Big 12 for a while, remember, Coach?
Exactly. I mean, K-State, who's I think will be one of the teams in top 2-3 teams in that league. Oklahoma State here, and then we beat a very good Dayton team in a neutral site game, but I was very encouraged. We also played a Nevada team on the road and gained some great experience, and they're one of the top 10 teams in the country. I think they're like 19-1. So we scheduled heavy, had some success, and then we got in a league play, and obviously you look at we got to a tough start, but I was really encouraged with our team because we looked at the big picture, who we played. We've got 5 games against the 3 teams that were picked in the top 3 teams in our league. We had 5 games against them in the first 7 games. So, and we didn't finish a couple of them. We had our chances against Cincinnati here. We had our chance against Central Florida there. But I want our psyche to be solid after coming off those tough losses. And I feel good about our team. Just keep being positive and encouraging them. There's still a lot of basketball left to play, but this team is going to have some great wins down the road.
Kind of like last season, Coach. We kind of slowed down a bit in January, and then you really caught fire. Did well get into the tournament, and really had an opportunity to advance in the AAC tournament too.
Yeah, we lose a tough match in the AAC tournament against the Memphis
running
team.
last-second shot.
Yeah. But there's no question. We had 19 wins, and that was coming off a team that we had all those guys the year before, 9 newcomers, and struggled a little bit, but we still were we finished 6th or 7th in the league play, but we were picked 10th. This past year we were picked 9th, and I think we'll still have a chance to finish higher than that. But this team has a chance to have that kind of run. Chris, we go back, we won 6 games in a row in February going to the conference tournament. So I think this team is capable of doing the same type of thing. We just got to keep growing, and DeQuan Jeffries is starting to play like we think he's capable of playing, and much like Junior caught fire during that time, and we got to get Sterling back to playing consistently the way he's capable of playing, and always go to Martin Zibano. Those 3 guys, we've got a lot of good role guys around those guys, but those are 3 guys that we need consistency from.
You closed January with your 90th win here at the University of Tulsa. Congratulations, Coach.
Thank you.
And looking ahead to the schedule in February, and kind of have the 20th circle. Wichita State coming, right? Wichita now coming here, and always a great rivalry, great game.
It is, and I was very, before they joined the league, we set up, Greg and I talked about playing every year, and that was cool, and that was great, and that was a good non-conference game for us, but, obviously they're in the league, which I think has been great for our league, and, in terms of the strength of our league, because Greg has done a tremendous job at Wichita State and built that program, and I told him this one time, I said, look, your model, what you've done here, I would love for us to do here at Tulsa. I mean, he got them to a Final Four.
Right.
And I feel good about us building that type of program here. But Greg, I have a tremendous lot of respect for and what he's done. And I think he's one of the really good coaches in our game.
American Athletic Conference, tournament time comes up in March, and again, it'll be in Memphis.
Yeah, and I think that's we're going to go there for one year, and then we're looking at the Fort Worth area. I think for three years in a new facility there in Dallas, Dallas Fort Worth area, which is I think is going to be fabulous and kind of like a neutral site for everybody. Yeah. The league has struggled trying to figure out where we should be, and once we establish a place, and I think that the Dallas Fort Worth arena is going to be for 3 years. We need to. That'll help our league a lot. We've kind of bounced around Orlando, Connecticut, and now Memphis. But once we establish some consistency there, I think now you start to feel like your league is gotten some growth and got some stability.
Hard to believe we're coming down the stretch here. In fact, really just 2 home games left. The 20th with Wichita coming here, and then Tulane on the 28th, Coach. Boy, it goes by quick, doesn't it?
It does, and I remind our players this all the time, but it'll be over before you know it, and to embrace each moment you have, and the opportunity they have to play college basketball, what a blessing, and to embrace every moment, because before you know it's over with. So I think this team understands that, and we've got such great kids, Chris. I mean, these guys they're student athletes. Yeah. They've done well in the classroom, along with the basketball court. We had our highest GPA since they've been marking GPA since the program they started doing that this past fall. And these guys they're great young men, and that's what it's all about in this profession is being there and helping these young men grow during their time of a college experience, and we're very fortunate we got a great group of guys to work with.
Frank Haith, head basketball coach at the University of Tulsa, in his 5th season, and I hope we'll continue into the postseason as well. Coach, thanks for joining us on OK Sportscene.
Appreciate you.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Thanks to Coach Haith for joining us here. And TU, we were talking a little bit that it's kind of been a tough year in the state for state teams, but TU still has a chance to maybe make an at-large bid for the NCAA tournament. They had a good non-conference record. They had a big win over K-State, who's a good team.
And we were 2-0 in the Big 12, remember that?
Yeah, exactly.
K-State, Oklahoma State,
well, but they need to finish strong. Only 7 games left, starting with a Valentine's Day game at Tulane. But it's possible if they finish strong that they can maybe get an at-large bid.
And it's something that's been interesting about them is they play so well at home. They played Cincinnati right down to the wire. They beat a good Temple team the other day. But then when they go on the road, you have that blown lead against Wichita State, a game at SMU that didn't go well. So can they keep that consistency that they have at home where they do so well? Can they bring that on the road with some games that like Tulane and East Carolina are at the bottom tier of the American, which is in a lot tougher conference than it has been in years past.
Yeah.
It's much more difficult.
Especially with the Houston team that's one of the better teams in the country, not just within the conference.
Well, only 3 home games left for the Golden Hurricane. Hard to believe, guys. That's February 20th, Wichita State. February 28th, Tulane comes back here. East Carolina on March the 3rd. Then off to the American Athletic Conference Tournament, March 14th, 17th in Memphis. We come back on the switch to track and field. And a legend is going to join us at the Bricktown Brewery, the great Joe Dial. Stay with us.
Oklahoma Sportscene wants to welcome our newest title sponsor, SNB Burger Joints, the home of fresh-made gourmet burgers and sliders, great sides, hand-dipped milkshakes, root beer and soda floats, and delicious homemade pies. All served with a fun and friendly staff, and we feature a full-service bar with over 65 beers and our unique Bloody Marys. SNB Burger Joint in the Oklahoma City area and coming soon to Tulsa.
1, 2, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, rock. 5, 6, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, rock. 9, 10, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, rock. We're gonna rock around the clock tonight.
Remington Park is now officially open around the clock. That's right, we are 24/7.
We're gonna rock around the clock tonight. We're gonna rock till broad daylight. Gonna rock around the clock tonight.
So when we say the party never ends, you better believe it. Remington Park, now open 24/7.
I bring Tulsa's voice to Oklahoma City and Washington. I build relationships with elected officials and community stakeholders to develop policies that grow the Tulsa region. I loved my time at Rider State University. The personal relationships I developed with professors really helped develop a skill set that would help me serve the Tulsa region that I care about. It all started for me at Rider State University.
Well, let's see. Nathan's going for the guacamole, and Harold's going for the queso and stuff. And Coach Down, a good healthy track all around University, goes for the water here. Joe, great to have you on.
Well, thank you.
Actually, guys, what a legend, huh? I mean, Joe, what he has accomplished in his career, not only as a coach, but also, of course, we'll talk more about his personal career as one of the great pole vaulters ever the sport's ever produced. Let's get back first to Oral Roberts University. Is that right? Is that possibly your 25th season, Joe?
Yeah, I've been there 25 years, on my 26th now.
Oh, my gosh, wow. And the records, of course, guys, 18 conference titles, been named the Conference Coach of the Year 14 times, has coached 70 championship NCAA qualifiers, 5 Olympic trials. Those probably numbers out of date too, but what amazed me most, you guys can appreciate this too, is you did it with like no facilities until just recently, Joe.
Right.
Talk about that. It's amazing.
Well, I know, I can't even believe that it even happened, because how to recruit a kid to like come to a major university, Division I, but we have no track.
Yeah.
But we got 3 national champions like that.
Yeah.
So, but now we finally have a track, which is, you know, you can ask anybody. It's as state of the art. It's as fine as any.
2 years ago
in
it
the
opened
country.
up,
Just opened up last year.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I remember going out and doing a story with one of your runners, and we met, I think, at the Jinx track before you had the track.
Oh yeah. Probably Andretti Baines.
Yeah,
or,
that's who it was. Yeah.
And
So,
then your
long
son
way.
too. Yeah,
Tommy.
He was out there at Jinx too. Yeah, it's incredible. Yeah, but I will say this. You know, you can always get the offer from the bigger schools.
Right.
You know, why stick with ORU even through all this, no matter, even with the bigger offers that I'm sure came with all your credentials?
Well, you know, I question that sometimes myself. But no, I mean, seriously, from the word go, it's for me and my wife. She's my assistant. It's really been a family atmosphere for us, and we've never had to have a babysitter, so they just come to work with us, and it's you know, it's really a family atmosphere, and that's the number one reason I've stayed there all these years.
Talk about your 2019 squad now, Joe. I know you just came out from Pittsburgh State, the Gorilla meet up there, and had some records again.
Yeah, we did. We had a young lady, Sasha Wells, and what's funny about recruiting has actually been getting easier, because I have 4 kids on my team now that I coach their parents, and she's one of them. Her dad was the Bohemian national record holder in the 100 meters, and now she's one of the champions in the hurdles there. So.
Is it easier for a smaller school like ORU now that social media, the internet, like people can see, kind of find out about ORU and about the track history a little easier than maybe in the past?
Yeah, well, it actually, no, it's really all just comes down to finances for recruits nowadays. I mean, it's just, you know, it's really finances, and obviously the track really helps a lot, but you know, it's just having a tradition. That's what helps us more than anything.
And you always seem to have a lot of international, kids. The school in general has a lot of international kids come, but especially in the track program.
Yeah, we've had a real niche there, and you know, it really started when I was traveling around the world pole vaulting, and I know people from different countries, and it just started from there, from word of mouth.
His background in pole vaulting, he is truly one of the world-class pole vaulters of all time. And you knew about his old high school, right, Marlow, when you were down in Lawton?
Yeah, I used to work in Lawton at the KSWO down there. We covered Marlow in different sports. But yeah, the legend out of Marlow, when you do something like break a national record, high school national record, I mean, what's that feel like? It's got to be amazing.
Well, it was great just because, you know, my dad coached me, and just family tradition there also. My brother was a state champion at Marlow, so just tradition.
Let's see, 17 feet, 9.5 inches.
Jeez, wow. Stood for 18 years, too.
Wow, that's pretty impressive.
Wow.
What's the record now, do you know?
Actually, one of my friends that I kept breaking the national record back and forth, Duplantis, he's from Louisiana. His son broke it this summer, and he jumped well over 19 feet, which he actually, as a high school senior, was ranked #1 in the world in this event, which is unheard of.
Yeah.
How did you get over the fear of pole vaulting?
You
know, because whenever someone runs track, they think 100-meter dash, hurdles, but then you're like, nope, not that one. How did you get over the
Something
fear?
could snap and impale you. I never understood
Things can happen.
I broke several poles, and it does get kind of scary, but I think just having that daredevil, you know, I used to be one of those kids that would climb up the stadium lights and jump off onto a little foam rubber mat. So you got to have a little craziness to you.
But to 4 straight state titles on to Oklahoma State University. Right. What a great career with the Cowboys, huh? My gosh.
Whenever you, looking at these records here, 6-time Big 8 champion, 4-time NCAA champion. What do you think was the peak of your career, the biggest accomplishment you're most proud of? Is it high school, is it college, or beyond that?
It was just kind of the whole thing. But a real highlight was my last Big 8 championship. I broke the first. I jumped 19 feet and then broke the American record. That was really, it was really big for me, a big moment.
And that American record was 19 feet, 6.5 inches, and stood again for 9 years. Wow.
Now, on your team was a guy named Garth Brooks, right? At OSU.
Yeah.
You were the star there. He was the guy at the back of the bus playing the guitar, right?
Yeah.
How was he as an athlete?
Yeah.
How was he as an athlete? I know we just found out this week he's in spring training with the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Oh, is he really?
Yeah. So,
that one thing you don't realize, people don't realize about that guy, is he was an athlete. I mean, I have video, which I told him I would never share, but I have video of him, because I coached his daughter after 20 years, and he came in there and he could actually still pole vault. He said when I would leave Oklahoma State, he would grab my poles and learn to pole vault. So, yeah, he's just an athlete. Just one of those guys that's blessed.
His event was the javelin. I think I saw
javelin.
218 feet or something, one of his throws.
Yeah, he was awesome.
Not too bad. Wow, gosh.
So, but do you still look back and say maybe I should have learned guitar a little bit more?
Oh, I should have learned to sing. Yeah. No, yeah,
Found
even when
some
he
friends
played
in low places.
Yeah.
You didn't write any of those lyrics, right?
No, I'm just one of those. A friend in low place.
Well, how's the outlook for the team this season? And I know you got the Summer League Championship coming in a couple of weeks, right?
Right. We got 2 weeks. We go to championship in South Dakota State, which is a great track. Just had some quarter miler, run 46 this weekend, and then my girl hurdler. I think we're set to have a great meet.
And we're talking about how Tulsa is such a nice place to live in now. You got things like the Gathering Place and some other things going on downtown. Does that help you recruit players, or have you seen the effect of that yet?
Tulsa to me is a great place to live, but recruiting, it just really comes down to you just have to find the right kid, which I just signed, I can say this because he signed now, the #1 kid in the state, Kevin Jackson, he ran 10:31 last year, which is the fastest guy I've ever recruited. Wow. And the other one was from Lawton, Oklahoma, Virgil Maddox. He got 3rd at NCAAs, and he ran a 10.6 in high school. So I can't wait to get a hold of this kid.
I think the impact of the international ministry and the great Christian word that Oral Roberts has spread throughout the world has got to help with the recognition of the university.
You know what? It's probably helped me more than anything to recruit kids from really worldwide. Because back when Oral actually did the tent revival, I had a kid, Prince Moomba. He listened to him and said, one day I'm going to go to school there. And he did, and he's like 5-6-time All-American for me.
Good heavens, wow. We have much more with the coach here. In fact, we're going to have a special guest here that has written a story about Joe Dial. We'll talk about that book when we come right back here on Oklahoma Sports Scene, presented by Bricktown Brewery. Stay with us.
Every minute, every day, and every night, there's someone who needs us. Every week and every year, we bring something new to the way we care for individuals and our communities. Every thought and every action is spent improving the way we imagine health and wellness. Because every child, every woman, and every man deserves the best possible life. St. Francis Health System. Healthcare for life.
If you haven't had an opportunity to read one of the Greater Tulsa reporters, I'd like to encourage you to pick up, let's say, the Jenks District Gazette. As an example, that's one of 6 that is put out by Forrest Cameron and his wife Sharon. But if you want to read something about sports, about government, about education, about economics, it's all right here in the GTR. So there are 6 of them in metropolitan Tulsa. I encourage you to pick up one today.
Welcome to Jimmy's Egg. Come on in.
For more than 30 years, Jimmy's Egg has been starting people's day off right with hot, fresh, made-to-order food. Our eggs are fresh, cracked to order every time, and there are over 40,000 ways to craft your own omelet. With signature favorites like our meat lover's skillet or decadent cinnamon roll pancakes, you won't leave hungry. Breakfast and lunch is available every day from 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., so stop in today and let our friendly staff serve you.
Stop by and see us sometime.
We're back at Bricktown Brewery. Joe Dial, of course, the Oral Roberts University coach and the fabled pole vaulter. We all know all about his story. The sky is the limit. It's the Joe Dial story. And our next guest right down here with him right there. Let's welcome Doug Eaton as well. Doug, talk about this project of yours and a little bit how people can get hold of the sky is the limit, the Joe Dial story.
Okay. Well, I've been a big track fan for a long time, and I knew about Joe's records and all these things he accomplished, but I didn't know a lot of the backstory. So I got to know Joe through the last couple of years at track meets and football games, Jinx football games. And I mentioned him a couple times. If he ever wanted to write his life story, I'd be interested in doing it. So after 3 or 4 years, he finally broke down and agreed to it. And I would meet with Joe once a week for about 1.5 years, wasn't it?
Yeah. It was a while.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be about 2 hours.
Well, the great thing about Joe is his memory is so great. He can remember high school meets that he participated in, what heights he cleared, who else was there, the weather conditions, and everything like that through high school, college, and professional. So it made my job a lot easier to do this. Plus, his mom and Joe's wife, Shauna, had scrapbooks through the years that helped a lot too. So
the picture on the book, Joe was saying, that brings back some memories too. What was the picture of here?
That was at my senior year at Oklahoma State. The meet was at Kansas State, and I broke the collegiate record and the American record there, over 19 feet.
Wow, unbelievable. Now, how can people get hold of this book here?
Well, the easiest way is to go to goldmedalpublishingllc.com. There's the URL. Cost of the book is $24.95, free shipping. We can have Joe personalize it how you'd want to, if you want it for a gift or anything, Joe would be glad to personalize it. And sales have been really good. It's been a great, good experience knowing Joe and knowing all about Joe's life and all of his adventures.
So Joe, how's it feel to have a book written about you?
Yeah.
Well, like I said, I thought it was just going to take a couple of hours, and it took well over a year of us meeting once a week. It was really fun because I got to relive all the memories again, just like it was happening.
And Doug, did you have to fact check him at all, make sure he's not embellishing anything?
Not really. No, his memory is so great that when I would go back and verify something, he was right on the point.
There you go.
And you got a forward here from Garth Brooks.
That's pretty cool too.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's really nice. The nice thing about that is one of the things that Garth said about Joe was, if you have a gift, what value of it is it if you don't pass it on? And that's where Joe Dow is a hero of mine. And that really stuck with me because Joe's been a great mentor and teacher and coach through the years of high school kids and college kids. I don't know how many kids you've coached, but probably in the thousands.
Yeah.
And everybody looks for him. Everybody knows Joe and looks up to him and respects him. That's why I really enjoyed writing the book.
I can imagine from little Marlow, Oklahoma, and where this sport of pole vaulting took you truly literally around the world, right, Joe?
It did.
International travel. Yeah. One of my favorite stories in the book, love this one, is when you had a meeting with the Pope.
Oh, yeah.
And His Holiness reached out his hand to Joe Dial, which of course you're supposed to take the hand and kiss the pontiff's ring. And Joe, what'd you say to him?
Oh, how you doing, buddy?
Yeah. Buddy. Hey, how you doing, buddy?
Are you still buddy? I don't know.
He must have loved that, huh?
Oh, yeah, he was a little shocked. And right before he stuck his hand up there, he was just like a couple of feet from me, and I have a picture. I snapped it right in his face, and I think that's why he saw me.
We talked about the Garth Brooks forward, but also Sergei Bubka, who would be the Pope of pole vaulting. What's it mean to have him ride a forward?
Oh, that was great because when he first came over to the United States in 1984, our first meet was in Los Angeles. We didn't really know if he was actually cheating or he was that great. But when we saw him, I mean, he was incredible. Everything that they said he was.
And now, over the course of your career, there's a lot of accolades, but there's also a little adversity you faced that I'm sure is addressed in the book. Did you go through, how you tried to address that in the writing of this?
Yeah. Woo. Yeah, that's tough. Read the book on that one. About losing a son and all that.
And the frustration of the Olympic trials, too.
Oh,
Joe.
yeah.
That's hard to imagine.
Just time after time, it seemed like every time the Olympics would come up, I'd rupture my disc, pull my hamstring, yada, 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 or too young or too old. So you got to hit it just right to do that. Even if you had the world record, you still have to do it on that day.
What's your advice to young athletes? What do they need to consider? Trying to pick a school, pick a career?
Really just go where people want you and it's going to support you, and everybody has to have a support group. And if you can find a place that has a good support group, you're going to be your best you can be.
Oh, look at this.
Oh, here we go.
Hey, now it's time to eat, guys.
Oh, yeah.
Take a look at this. Doug has got the, and is this typical Marlow, Oklahoma here?
That's typical everywhere, Oklahoma. This is fried steak. You
Get in
can't
there,
beat
study.
that.
This is their famous chicken fried steak here in Bricktown Brewing. You can see just a small portion here, Joe.
Digging right in. They wasted no time.
Hand-battered chopped steak, maple pepper gravy, mashed potatoes, and then you had the burger, right?
Steak burger?
Steak burger, yeah, the Bricktown burger with
sweet
the
potato fries.
Sweet potato fries.
Very nice.
And even more of a bonus, guys. You each get a gift card to bring your wives on Valentine's Day. The date for you here.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thanks so much for joining us here.
Thank you.
Joe, great story. Thank you again for telling the story of Joe Dowd.
Thank you
story,
very much.
It really is. Appreciate it, fellas. We're going to come back more on Oklahoma Sports Scene. We're going to talk about Booker T. Washington's Ring of Honor, very special ceremony this past week here in Tulsa. So stay with us.
Ditchwitch, 5 words or less.
Making the impossible possible.
Technology you can't live without.
Most versatile equipment ever made.
Customer service and support.
Reliable, productive, ground-chewing machines.
We're in this together.
March Madness. There's nothing like it. The road to the Final Four goes through Tulsa. The 2019 NCAA Men's Basketball first and second rounds, March 22nd and 24th at BOK Center in Tulsa.
Beautifully done. Deep splash. Feeling it today.
Visit ncaa.com/MBB tickets and get your seats today.
Welcome back to the Oklahoma Sports Scene here at the Bricktown Brewery in lovely Brookside here in Tulsa. And I got to tell you, this Booker T. Ring of Honor that they had was outstanding. Some of the names here, it will rival any high school in the nation, especially in the region here. But the top names they had, 16 people being honored, Chris, and you were there for the festivities in MC.
Yeah, all of you guys were there too in Summit. I can't imagine trying to choose the first class of Booker T. Washington Hornet athletes. Their history is amazing.
I know, but they did pretty well. Of course, you had to have a Wayman Tisdale and R.W. McQuarters and Eton Thomas. What I found interesting about it, they all talked, when they were talking about it, it's not just about the sporting event or what they did on the court or on the football field. They talked so much about what Booker T meant to them, even off the court, how it made them into who the people they are now, especially in Eton Thomas, who talked about that, who does a lot of work for things besides in the sports realm and a lot of social justice issues and stuff like that. He said he learned it all at Booker T and Carver Middle School, or kind of what made him what he was today. And he was almost, it sounded equally proud. I think you might have been there, Harold, when he was talking about his state title in speech and debate.
Speech and debate, yeah.
and also in basketball.
Yeah, speech and debate. I think some of them mentioned Quiz Bowl too. So I mean, they had the academics and the athletics down pat. But I mean, when you go through some of these names, I mean, obviously you mentioned the big ones, but then this Kenny Monday, Reuben Gant, former NFL player, Julius McHughes was just a great coach. I mean, even someone more recent like Talia Mayberry, who went to the NCAA tournament 5 years ago at TU and now coaching at ORU. I mean, and Eton Thomas, I believe, is probably one of the smarter athletes you'll ever meet.
Yeah.
He's an author, and he wrote that great book where he interviewed so many athletes about being more than an athlete.
Yeah.
So you've got a lot of great names on this list just for one school, which is remarkable.
And the four coaches who, had facilities named after them. And Nathan E. Harris is the basketball gym now. Of course, S.E. Williams honored, who the football field is named after.
Nathan Harris, just amazing. Ulysses Mitchell there. Just incredible history. We're all proud to be part of that Ring of Honor, the very first class of Booker T. Washington High School. We're going to come back here. We have a special goodbye section for our friend Harold Kuntz. Stay with us here at Bricktown Brewery.
At Bricktown Brewery, we're known for our famous original craft beers like Single String Stout and Bluesberry Ale. Did you know we also brew our own root beer at our Oklahoma City brewhouse? It's called Attaboy Root Beer, and you'll love it no matter what your age. Just ask for a Bricktown Kids menu with all the favorites for our guests 12 and under. Bricktown Brewery opens every day at 11 a.m.
Welcome to Jimmy's Egg. Come on in.
For more than 30 years, Jimmy's Egg has been starting people's day off right with hot, fresh, made-to-order food. Our eggs are fresh, cracked to order every time, and there are over 40,000 ways to craft your own omelet. With signature favorites like our meat lover's skillet or decadent cinnamon roll pancakes, you won't leave hungry. Breakfast and lunch is available every day from 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., so stop in today and let our friendly staff serve you.
Stop by and see us sometime.
Robertson Tire has been locally owned and serving Tulsa for the past 50 years, but we're much more than a tire shop. We handle alignments, oil changes, brakes, and much more. For all our services, coupons, and location information, visit us online at robertsontire.com.
Our final segment on Oklahoma Sports Scene here at the Bricktown Brewery. It seems like a good place to have a spinal toast. Our good friend here, Harold Kuntz, guys. Harold, cheers, all the best.
Thank you.
Great time in Kansas City.
All
Lives in
right.
the Tulsa market and goes to Kansas City to be at the Fox channel up there.
You can take a
Fox
drink, Chris.
man here.
That's bad luck, Chris.
Come on, man.
I know, but that's too strong. But I got to tell you, it's got to be great stuff, though, because it is, by the way, it's the Double Bock Tap Thursday. They're going to tap this on Thursday, the special beer, which they say is, by the way, I got to read this so I know what I'm saying here, traditional, strong German lager. Yeah, I'll see what you think.
Okay, let's see what I think here.
Try it there. I'll tell you, but it's true to the style.
Well, I approve as someone who has a strong German last name. So yeah.
Look at that. Rich brown color derived from imported German malts and drinks deceptively smooth. Look at this. All of a sudden,
7%.
There you
go.
There you go. They're going to tap it on Thursday, Valentine's Day here at Bricktown Brewery.
And drink responsibly.
Yeah, exactly. You always like your blueberry one, though, right?
Yeah, it's got actually blueberries floating in there, but yeah, it's a good one.
Well, we got to feed these guys before you leave, though. Here's your special gift certificate from Bricktown Brewery.
Appreciate it.
And Nathan, for you, buddy.
Thank you very
Thanks for taking
much.
the time
Appreciate
here.
it.
I know Gil and JB are proud of the job you guys did in filling in. So what did you learn through Oklahoma Sports Scene today? All the guests have had and all the things we talked about?
So much. You know, of course, we learned a lot about Tulsa.
Yeah. Thanks to Ray Hoyt.
Something we know.
And then some good stories from Joe Dial about his amazing, pole vaulting career. So, yeah, it was really interesting.
Harold?
Yeah, I think I have the same sentiment here. You talk about a guy like Joe Dial, who's one of the Tulsa treasures in athletics, and all the ups and downs he went through, and just to hear his stories is pretty inspiring in itself. But I look forward to seeing how Tulsa grows, to be honest, with in first and second rounds, maybe to get to a Sweet 16 and Elite 8, which just happens to be in Kansas City this year. Shameless plug. So, but yeah, I feel that Tulsa is a great metropolitan area that's just on the rise.
It's interesting. Oklahoma is such a kind of a tight sports community. Some cities may not; they may be kind of more cutthroat. But we call our competitors friends here, and I definitely call you a friend. And it's been great working with you.
Yeah, congratulations to everything, your honors, your family. It's been good.
Thank you. Well, we know you'll do a great job up there. So
exactly.
We'll keep in touch for sure, and we'll have Harold back down here in Tulsa and enjoy some of the great things going on.
We have one special guest left here, too.
Speaking of family, here you go.
Lynn Casey, certainly at Fox 23.
There she is.
It's Sophie.
Lynn, how are you?
Oh, hi, Sophie.
How old is Sophie now?
Hi, Sophie.
How old is she, Nate?
She's a year and a half.
Oh, what a doll.
And she's ready for some Bricktown Brewery food, right?
Is this her first television appearance?
No, live. Okay. It's her first live.
Oh, is it really?
There you go.
Yeah,
we made history.
We've shown pictures. Yeah. And now she wants mommy.
Okay, Mom, Lynn, back in, Lynn.
Whoa, Sophie.
So next time on Oklahoma Sports Scene, thank you, Sophie. We'll have again Bob Carpenter, a Major League Baseball voice of Washington Nationals. Good cue.
Yeah.
Bob Carpenter on, Brian Carroll talked about the Tulsa Drillers and a high school basketball preview of the tournament. Thanks for joining us, Oklahoma Sports Scene. So long, everyone. Good luck, Carroll.
Thanks.